We extend hearty welcome to Sushiaji. Please carry forward.
Dear students, pranams to and you know, here we said what is the use of Vedanta for we are all anxious. Vedanta is why Vedanta for us teach something else here, some other language for us. But all of us know what the intellectual intelligence, all these things, how you are going to perform, what is your egoic when you are doing performing your responsibility. Yesterday I had a talk. I feel the training of mind is part and parcel of it. She is going to do discourse on that. A very useful thing, and which the education issues are missing in training the students. And I really thank the Vedanta Academy and especially Sushiaji for bringing the concept into the life to the best advantage to the students of Savitri, especially the Gayatri students. I thank the organizer Satyanarayana for bringing them to this campus, and I request Madam to deliver the lecture on how it should be. And it's really useful. She always invites, and there is one more thing. There are youth camps that are being conducted in the Vedanta Academy, and there are classes being conducted in the campus. Please try to take the advantage of it and try to develop your intellect or intelligence and all these things she will clarify. I am a very labor in that area. She talks about it. Thank you, madam. Welcome.
Respected elders, dear friends, very good morning to all of you. Okay, today we have about 45 minutes to an hour to talk about Vedanta's role in intellect building. Every human being, all of us here, have got three matter equipments. You have the physical body, which you can see. This is our outer personality. Within this physical body are two great equipments we have. Everybody has. One is called the mind, manas, and the other is buddhi, intellect. The body has got 5 organs of actions and 5 organs of perception. Organs of perception are what? Eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin. And you have, these are organs of perception. You have 5 organs of action, hands, legs, speech, genital organs, organs of evacuation. The mind in us is the seat of feelings, emotions, likes and dislikes, impulses. Beyond the mind lies the intellect. It is the faculty of thinking, reasoning, logic, reason, judging, deciding. Now, the human being is the masterpiece in the creation, because it's only the human being amongst all living beings, which includes the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. It's only the human being which has the intellect. The plants, as you know, has just the physical body. Meaning only the trunk. It has no senses. It has no organs of actions also. Superior to that is the animal kingdom, which has got body no doubt, if not 5, at least a few of the organs of perception, and it has organs of actions. They don't have speech, they can't speak. Of course, they make sound, and they have their own language of communication, I suppose. But no intellect. The mind that they have is rudimentary, not a full-fledged mind like a human being has. And therefore, we say that the human being in the scheme of creation is the chef d'oeuvre. It's a masterpiece. The body of the three equipments that we have, the body is the grossest. Subtler than the body is the mind, and subtler than the mind is the intellect. The body, being grossest, is like the vehicle, the car which takes you from place to place. The car cannot start moving on its own. And so the body acts, no doubt, but not by itself. It cannot come to this classroom by itself, or it will not go to the next place by itself. It has to be propelled to action by this inner personality, which constituted of the mind and intellect. So it's the mind and intellect which propels the body into action. We said the mind is subtler than the body, but subtler than the body, subtler than the mind. Superior to the mind is our intellect, the thinking faculty in us. Now, when this inner personality, the mind and intellect, propels the body to action, there are three situations that can happen. One, where the mind propels the body directly into action. It does not consult the intellect. And the actions which come from such a combination are detrimental. It could even be fatal. Why? Because, as we said, the mind in us is only a seed of feeling, impulses. It has no reason. It has no logic. It cannot analyze. So, the mind in us has no direction. It has no dimension. It can ask for anything at any time. You may suddenly feel lecture is going on, that you want to just get up and stretch. But what? You may feel like doing that. But there is something in us that says, hey, just sit down. You can't be doing this in the classroom. That's the intellect. But if this intellect is out of this equation, the mind being just a seat of feelings, it has no direction, it has no dimension, so it can ask for anything, anytime, and what? To any extent. So this is a risky situation. Okay. The next situation that can come, that both mind and intellect are involved in propelling the body to act. But the mind is saying, I like sweets, I would like to go for it. The intellect says, no, you've got diabetes, you can't touch it. So they are both involved in action. And let's say the intellect takes the decision, wins in this debate and decides, no, you will not touch the sweet. The action is sensible, but there is disharmony. The mind wants to do one thing in us, and the intellect wants to go the opposite way. So you have performed an action, though sensible, but there is stress, there is unhappiness, there is a friction with it. The third situation, where both mind and intellect are involved in deciding whether I have to take this action or not, but they are in agreement, perfect agreement, then you have actions which are productive and you are peaceful. There is harmony within when you perform those actions. So you will be successful and peaceful if you have a mind and intellect which are in agreement, which are integrated. But that is a rare feat. Most of the times we are not, either the mind is deciding on its own and we do stupid things in life which we probably later on regret, or we are performing actions, somehow the intellect gets by the mind, but the mind is not happy about it. Now, just a few minutes before, we said the mind in us, he said it is subtler than the body, no doubt, but superior to the mind is the intellect. If this intellect in us is a superior equipment, it is subtler equipment, then how is it that it cannot get the mind to agree with it at all times? If it is superior, it's the boss. But you find that the boss doesn't have much say most of the times. The intellect is superior to us, but it is not strengthened, it's not strong, and that's where this topic is coming. On the poster you can see that Vedanta's role in intellect building. Intellect is superior by nature, but it has not been strengthened. Now what is strengthening? We have to go into a little bit background. When you are born, when the baby is born, it's just the physical body that is born. Of course, the baby has got, it's very tiny, very small, but it has all the 5 organs of perception and the 5 organs of action, fully formed. And the mind is also, so initially when the baby is born, it's just the physical birth. Few months later, the mind comes into the picture. The mind is born. The baby also has likes and dislikes. When the mother is around, it's happy. If a stranger picks it up, it will cry. So these are signs that the mind is coming up, is emerging. But the intellect is born, emerges in us only by the age of, let's say, 8, 10. So all these 7, 8 years of your life, the mind, which is born just few months after the birth, physical birth, it has gathered so much momentum. You have picked up so many likes and dislikes, so many impulses, desires, emotions. And the intellect comes on the scene only by the time you are 8 or 10. And the body and the mind develop naturally. When the baby is born, you don't have to do much. Of course, you feed the baby, but it grows. It grows higher and higher, and broader also. So is the mind. The mind we don't need any coaching, no special classes, nothing is required to pick up likes and dislikes, to develop anger, jealousy. You don't need any coaching. It develops naturally all these impulses, feelings, likes, dislikes. But in case of intellect, which comes into the scene only by 8 or 10, that's why we have the Upanayana ceremony, meaning that is twice born. First was the physical birth, and now the real personality is born. The intellect is born, meaning it just starts thinking independently. But it needs considerable time and effort on your part, on the individual parts, to develop one's intellect. It cannot be delegated. You have to develop the intellect yourself. You cannot delegate. You can set up a gym in your house. You can have a trainer. Everything you can do, or buy the best equipments in the gym, but you will have to exercise. If you're ill, you have to take the medicine. You can't delegate that. So here we have, that is the reason, we left off, we said, if the intellect is the boss, if it is superior to the mind, why is it that when I have to decide on an action, why can't I my intellect get the mind to agree to it, and then there's perfect harmony? But it doesn't happen, because the intellect needs effort on your part to develop it. It does not develop naturally, just like the body and the mind develop. So in these few years, till the intellect emerges, the mind has gathered a lot of momentum, and it has become very strong. And the intellect has just emerged, and now going to work on it. Now this intellect, everybody, has got 2 major functions. It has the capacity to gain knowledge, acquire knowledge, and that's what we are doing here. On various subjects, we have information. The second function of the intellect, the second capacity of the intellect is that it has the capacity to strengthen itself. And that's why we send the children when they are what? 5? No. Nowadays we send the children to play school when? Maybe as soon as they are born. Now we have got what? In our time we had straight from first standard, or maybe KG. Oh no, I'm talking about my time. Your time, maybe you went to KG. So how many KGs there are? Upper KG, lower KG, middle KG, maybe medium, middle, like how we have fast bowler, slow bowler, medium, like that, many KGs. And before that you have? What do you have before KG? I can't do it. Maybe all of you are talking together as well. I don't know, they will say play school, it's something like that. You send the child to a play school. So, okay, we send the children to school in the hope, or we are sent to the education institution because this intellect needs effort to be developed, not body and not mind. So if you are sent to school, you go to the education to develop this faculty of thinking in you. But the custodians of education or the education systems throughout the world at the moment are not aware of this background. They are not aware, first of all, that you have an inner personality, there's an outer personality. Inner personality consists of two equipments. What are they? Mind and intellect. Mind is subtler than the... Just check. If you don't answer, educate is made up of two words, edu and cate, which means to draw out. So when you are asked question, and if an answer is drawn out of you, that knowledge will remain permanently with you for a long, long time. But if the system of education is such that information is just pushed into you, it is volatile. It will evaporate before you leave the door. So when you are asked questions, try and answer. It will help us. What is subtler than the body? We said is the process. Subtler than the body is? Subtler than mind? When you are born, what is born first? Mind. Thank God. Second? How much time difference? Approx. Few months. Intellect is born at the age of 8 or 10. Mind, body and mind develop on their intellect. You need effort to develop the art of thinking clearly, logically. So, in the hope to develop the intellect, what do the parents do? Send us to school. Now, in the school, we said that in this time and age, unlike the Gurukul system which was there in the olden times, the custodians of religion are not aware that there is something called an intellect. You have an inner personality having manas and buddhi, and the intellect has got two functions. One is, it has two roles to play in life. One, it can pick up knowledge. We become well informed of many subjects. Second, only one or two are answering. The intellect, the second function is, please listen carefully because this is the important point for us to understand. The intellect has got two functions. One is it can acquire knowledge. It has the capacity to gain knowledge on various subjects. Second is that it has the capacity to strengthen itself. But there is a process, there is a procedure to it, which we will come to presently. So when you are in the school, and later on when you go to college, you could have two approaches to gaining the knowledge. In the school, like we said, because the custodians of education are not aware of the presence of intellect, and much less that it has the capacity or it has a role, a very important role to strengthen itself, this second aspect is completely neglected. It's not even known. Neglect comes having known. It's not even known. No education system in the world attends to the second aspect of the intellect. So all attention is given to making us well informed on very many subjects in the world. There are two approaches a student could have to gaining this knowledge. One, that we have coined two words, liberal and servile. There is a great thinker, Cardinal Newman, who wrote a book more than 100 years ago, entitled The Idea of a University. In that book, he writes about this concept that you can approach knowledge two ways. One is Let's take the first one, which probably we are more familiar. Servile. Servile means you approach education, whatever course you have taken, with the idea to make use of it. There is a utility tag fixed to your doing engineering or medicine or law, whatever. There is a utility tag attached to it. Then you take admission or you're discussing among your friends. What's the discussion? What is the scope if I take this degree or this course if I do? What do you mean by scope? When you say scope, what you mean is what is the job opportunity? And what is the meaning of job opportunity? What is the paycheck like? What's the paycheck for? Will I get a good life? So this is my approach to education. So I'm going through education just to utilize it. Just to give me a good life. There is the second set who have a liberal approach, says Cardinal Newman, to knowledge, to gaining knowledge. They respect knowledge for its sake. You study mathematics for mathematics' sake. You study art for art's sake, not to make some use of it. And you know what happens when you approach knowledge thus? Before that, what happens will come in. So when they approach liberally, how they listen to whatever is being taught to them or whatever they see or read is there are two disciplines they follow. Okay? Most of them are not conscious. Because of this study, we have coined only to communicate, because then you have structured information. Two approaches. One is whatever information is placed before them will not be taken for granted. Meaning you do not listen to things mechanically. You just do not accept things because even if a great person has said or a great book has said, no, that doesn't matter. You, first discipline, do not take anything for granted. The second discipline, do not accept anything without questioning it. You question everything that you encounter. Question doesn't mean you have a questioning attitude in the sense of disrespect, that you are challenging elders or the source of knowledge. It's not that. You genuinely want to understand the logic, reason for whatever is presented before you. When you have such an approach, you know who are the people? Steve Jobs. I'm told the guy didn't even complete probably his proper education. See, when we say education, it's not only through school or college. It's not to be understood in a limited way. Education can be through any source. Shakespeare didn't have proper education. Herbert Spencer did good school. I read. Einstein, just this morning somebody has sent a WhatsApp. Not this morning, earlier it was sent, but because I had to talk to you, I went back and just checked what that WhatsApp said. Albert Einstein, you know what he is? The man who changed our lives. I believe in 1907, he had applied to University of Burns for admission for doctorate, to do PhD. And the Dean of College sends him a refusal letter. These are people who have thought originally. We're not trying to bring down Dean or something. They are people. And what was Einstein after that? After that, not after the refusal letter, but what did he do in his life? So how come these people who approach knowledge liberally, study for study's sake, not to make cheap use of it? This is cheapening knowledge, cheapening Saraswati. You don't take something to merely, knowledge is divine, it's okay, when I say divine, you may get some spiritual idea. No, I'm not talking about that. Knowledge is supreme. You cannot, knowledge precedes action. Even if you want to make a pot, you can't make a pot unless you know the knowledge of pot making. Even in mundane field. So knowledge is supreme. So we should not demean it by saying, oh, I'll take this course because I will get a paycheck. Very cheap approach. But if you were to have the liberal approach, you become, you will be people who will be inventing things. You will discover things. You will change the way things are done before you. When you apply your intellect, think liberally upon whatever has been taught. You know, we all have played with ball, rings, so many things we play, right? But it said when Newton was a young fellow, he saw the apple on the tree in his garden, and the apple broke from the branch, and he noticed that it fell down. So Newton is thinking, the child is thinking, why did the apple fall down? Why did it not rise up? How many times you are playing with things, but does it cross our mind? Do we make any observation? We take it for granted whatever is happening, and of course there is no question. That Newton, that child, because he questioned, every time I chucked the apple up, it came down. It doesn't go up. Why does I'm throwing it up? So it should continue to go up. It doesn't happen. It comes down. And from that observation, from that questioning, we are blessed with this law of gravity, which is 32 feet per second per second. So these are people who have liberal approach to education, even if you are taking education. James Watt, the young boy, was once boiling water in the kettle. He was sitting watching what was happening. Probably had nothing much to do. But he found that the lid on the kettle, the water started boiling, it kept boiling, and then the lid on it started shaking. Some noise was coming, and then it started rising. He made an observation. See, he didn't take it for granted that what he saw. And then he questioned, he examined, and you know what rose from that observation? Sorry? Steam? Steam engine. A simple observation. How many times we have seen water boiling? He observed that the steam has got power, and he harnessed that. He made the steam engine, and we are using the trains. So this is the capacity of your liberal approach to education, rather than just survive approach. So what do these people who have taken education liberally, where do they land? They become leaders in society. They are the people who rule the world, and the rest who have followed education survive, meaning just some mundane views of it. You just have to follow life as a herd. Whatever trend these people set, the rest of us have to follow that. So if you want to be a leader, if you want to head anything, even to handle anything, see, there are people, to give them some problem, anything. It could be a packing, it could be a railway booking they're not able to do. There is some problem, some issue. Who will be able to solve it? A person who thinks originally, who thinks freely. He will be able to apply himself. The rest will go by textbook rules. They cannot teach you everything. They have given you general principles. Thereafter, you need to exercise your intellect. Now, having said all this about intelligence, just covered this because it's relevant. Now we have to come. What did we say? Start with? We said the intellect has got two functions. One is gain knowledge. We spoke a lot about it. You have two approaches. You can either be survive about it or liberal in your approach. If you are liberal, you'll be a leader, you'll rule the world. Inventions, creations will be there all the time. People who discovered the heart transplant, liberal approach. Who built the Panama Canal, liberal approach. Who built bridges, liberal approach. The rest only have to pay the toll and go from one place to other place. The herd, the rest who have approached knowledge, survive. Now, the second we said was, the second function of the intellect is to strengthen itself. Now, what is the meaning of strengthening the intellect? How do you strengthen the intellect? What is the effect? What is the purpose of strengthening the intellect? What role does it play in my life in school and college and after? Does it play a role? Where do you get, are there any education institutions which help us strengthen the intellect? So, the first question, does it mean when we say strong intellect? Strong intellect simply means the ability to control the mind. Remember how we started the lecture? We said we have three equipments. Body is losses. Subject than the body is? Then intellect. But when you have to take an action, body by itself cannot act. It's propelled either by the mind, not either. It's propelled into action by this inner personality through equipment, mind and intellect. We gave three. There are three situations that can come. One is the mind is very powerful, doesn't consult the intellect, simply plunges into action. All the time we are doing. Those actions are, anybody remembers? Detrimental. They are not productive. Second situation, where mind is present, but intellect is also having a role, but the two are not. Anybody remember? They are not in agreement. The mind wants sweet, it wants to go for the film, it wants to go for a party. The intellect says, no, my dear, you have diabetes. You can't go for the film or party because I have an exam tomorrow. So not today, maybe next week. So there is, it is a sensible action, but it's like the child is made unhappy. The parent says, no, nothing doing, we got to follow this. But the child is unhappy, so that's not the best situation. The third situation we said is when the best situation is when your mind and intellect are full agreement. That's the best. You're successful, you're peaceful, you're happy. You're very productive, you're dynamic in life. Now, that is what we are connecting here. When we say, what is the meaning of a strong intellect? Strong intellect means you have fortified it, you have developed it. Now, when we say the intellect is strong, is subtler than the mind, it has picked up strength. And a strong, in the presence of a strong intellect, the mind gets naturally controlled. Then there is perfect agreement between mind and intellect at all times. Every action of yours is productive. Every action of yours produces peace. No stress, no worry, no anxiety. Then we said, this is the meaning of strong intellect. How do you strengthen the intellect? Vedanta is a knowledge. Vedanta is made up of two words, Veda and Anta. Veda means knowledge, it's a Sanskrit word. Anta is end. Anta also means, so it is end of knowledge. There is a pun on the word end. It means highest knowledge, culmination of knowledge, the greatest knowledge known to mankind. It talks about knowledge of life and living. You know the background, the earlier introduction that we gave? These are basics in Vedanta. It teaches you higher values of life. You have body, mind, intellect. What are the values? What is beyond these? Is all that is covered in Vedanta. Even Vedanta can have two approaches. What are the two approaches we said you can have for secular education, for your education in school and college? What are the two approaches? One is, anybody remember the word that we used? Survive. You can approach Vedanta in survival manner, meaning just study mechanically, not applying yourself. The second approach is liberal. When you study even Vedanta, it doesn't matter if they are the greatest texts, the greatest of men have written them, the greatest of men have followed that knowledge and become still great. It doesn't matter. When you approach knowledge, you have to approach it with your intellect, with your faith. What is it saying? Don't take it for granted. When we said every human being has got three equipments, don't swallow it. We said three matter equipments. One is body. Yes, body I can see, accepted. No question. So you have not swallowed information. Then we said mind is a seat of emotions. You say, yes, there is something in me which feels, which likes, dislikes, which has impulses. Okay, granted, making sense. Next, what is she saying? What is she saying? Intellect. Yes, intellect, she said, was faculty of thinking, reason, logic, reason. She said, yeah, there is something in me that thinks. I feel it and I also think. So accept it. Thus you approach the knowledge, even if it's Vedanta. Any knowledge, not only knowledge, anything you do in life, anything you do in life, it is not challenging. Why are we talking about, why did these masters talk about these two disciplines to approach life? Of don't take anything for granted, question whatever you are encountering life, because it is a sign of using the intellect. Today we are not in the habit of using intellect. We are not taught, not our fault, not the fault of the teachers too. They were not taught. Long, long ago somewhere, this Gurukul way of teaching got lost. So, it is a sign that you are using the intellect. Yesterday somebody was asking if I question, but I don't agree with it. That's not the point. The recommendation is approach anything. See, we approach things with these two fleshy eyes. You perceive. After that what? You are endowed with the intellect which is placed above your senses. Means the intellect should be brought in the picture. The intellect should understand what you are perceiving, what somebody is saying, what you are reading, anything. And that's why this is called the buddhi, the intellect is also called as eye of wisdom. You know, see in the picture of Shiva, they draw some picture, third eye, the eye will, this is the me. That whatever you perceive, whatever you encounter in life, please think. That's all. Because, why should we think? Because we said we are a chef god of creation, masterpiece of creation. Why? The plant has only the body. Not even organs of perception or organs of action. Superior, far, far superior is the animal, which has got the body, it has got few organs, if not all five, organs of perception, organs of actions, not five, few, but still quite independent. And it has got rudimentary ability, small capacity to feel, but no thinking capacity. Just in case you have a doubt, they do have thinking capacity. A small extent. You have a dog in the house, he recognizes master and stranger. But that is all rudimentary. But when it comes to human being, we have full-fledged body, mind and intellect. So that's why these two disciplines, whatever you encounter, please greet it, meet it with your intellect. Now, the next point. What does this, if you study Vedanta this way, two things happen to you. One is your intellect gets strengthened. See, when you go to gym, what do? You lift weights, right? Various exercises you're doing. What happens when the muscles are used, they are stretched, you strengthen them. If you do not exercise, the body is just lazy. You will lose even the present energy. Your muscles become weak. The same thing the intellect we are doing. When you approach knowledge and apply yourself, why is it said? How is it said? What's the reason? What's the logic for it? When you are thus chewing on that information, you are strengthening that intellect. And alongside, what does Vedanta do? How does it score over every other knowledge? Because it gives you values for life. It gives you a direction in life. The guy who got down the 2 towers in the US, brilliant intellect. Brilliant. But where is the direction in life? What did he do with this brilliant intellect? People who would burgle a bank, great planning. Not an ordinary intellect, but no direction in life, because no values. So Vedanta gives you both. It gives you a strong intellect, it gives you sense. What is that I should do in life which will make you happy and everybody around you happy? What does the strong intellect actually, what is the mechanics? What does it actually do when the intellect is strengthened, when there is a Spotify? In its sheer presence, the mind becomes calm, right? So a strong, calm mind means what? You're peaceful. When your intellect is strong, you become, it brings peace of mind. When the mind is peaceful, Then you say, why? Everybody thinks. Now what happens? Each one thinks, now what should we do? Why did she say why? That's a sign that the intellect props up, becomes sharp. So when the mind is calm, when it's peaceful, naturally the intellect becomes very sharp. See, the intellect helps the mind to be calm, and the calm mind helps the intellect to be sharp. When your intellect is sharp, alert, your actions, mind is peaceful, intellect is sharp, the actions emerging from this combination are productive, you're successful, you concentrate on whatever you do. So a sharp intellect brings, what does it do? Sharp intellect does two things. What does it do? First, it calms the lust. When the intellect is sharp, the mind becomes calm. When the mind is calm, we said, what is the effect on the intellect? It becomes sharp. So you have in you now, the inner personality, what is the state? That it has a perfectly calm mind. When we say calm, it's not ordinary calm, not ordinary peace. That you have, when your intellect is strong, you know what the mind, it will never get disturbed in any circumstance. You will remain cheerful, enthusiastic, peaceful, no matter what the situation outside. It may be favorable, unfavorable. To find shanti in shanti is no big deal. Very much. But if you are able to remain shant in ashanti, you are a person of some substance, some strength of intellect. So this is what this is the mechanism, this is what happens within you. So you have your inner equipment. Just few minutes. I know you have to talk very important things. Just few minutes. We'll finish. I mean it. I understand it's too much to sit for how much time I can. Maybe 45 minutes. And try and make it interesting. Something really nice is coming. So, you have, when the intellect is strong, two things happen. Your mind becomes peaceful and your actions become productive. So you have success and peace. What more do you want? That's what everybody wants. I want to be successful in life. I want to be peaceful. Peaceful means what? I want to be able to enjoy whatever success I have acquired in life. That's why you say Shubh Labh. Shubh means, Shubh is, in Vizag you are Shubh Labh. You understand Shubh Labh? Shubh is pure, pure. So that refers to the peace of mind, right? Labh is prosperity, success. So when there is a housewarming, you know, outside on the door frame, you may have seen, or people write on the wall also. They write one side Shubh, other side they will write Labh. They will draw that swastik sign. Haven't you seen? You see? Okay. I'll go back. One of you have said yes. What is Shubh Labh? Means if you have strengthened your intellect, then you have both Shubh and Labh in your life. You know, Vishnu consort is Lakshmi. Vishnu is the Lord of maintenance. Okay? Vishnu is Narayana, so he is embodiment of the Vedanta knowledge. So, if you approach Vishnu, who is the consort of Vishnu? Lakshmi. We don't have time, so I am answering the question. Lakshmi. What? You've seen pictures of Vishnu and Lakshmi together? Vishnu is lying and Lakshmi is serving the master. She's massaging the feet. This will happen. If you fortify your intellect to the study of Vedanta, meaning approach Vishnu, Lakshmi will serve you. Prosperity just follows you. But if you were to approach Lakshmi directly, what will happen? She'll close the door. No Lakshmi. So you approach Narayana, Lakshmi will follow. It will serve you. Why does Ganesha have a big head? You know, Lord Ganesha has the biggest biological head. And then what do you find? At its feet, there is a plate of laddus. So if you fortify this intellect, if you strengthen the intellect, if you develop the intellect, prosperity is at your feet. That's what you want from this all intelligence that you are gathering. How does Vedanta help you, let's say, directly in your life? You have students and you are acquiring this knowledge, and after it, you want to use the implement this knowledge. So, when your intellect is strong, you will find that we said the mind is calm. A calm mind, if you are sitting in the class, let's say you are learning, I don't know, all engineering, so maybe some subject you have. If the mind is calm, meaning it is not going here and there, it is not distracted, you are able to pay attention. It helps you to concentrate, and only when you can concentrate can you acquire intelligence. So, directly a strong intellect helps you in acquiring intelligence which you want. What else does it do? It helps you to access that intelligence. You have an exam coming up, you have done a lot of study, fully studied the subject. Yet when you want to write the exam, you have the examination hall, done all the homework, but last minute, now you become, some fear grips you. Oh, I don't know whether I will, this question will be asked or something, and you find the mind, when there is fear, when there is nervousness, your mind gets disturbed. When the mind is disturbed, the intellect cannot think. The intellect cannot think. What happens? You can't write the answers. You are not able to access that all the answers that are filled in your head. Access denied. You can't write, you don't do well. You go for an interview. The guy is asking some simple questions. But you have got nervous, it's your first interview. You know the answers, but you blabber them. You don't get the job. Mind is disturbed because intellect is not strong. If the intellect is strong, no matter who is in the interviewing panel, you will fly, you come out with flying colors. So it helps you to access the knowledge. It helps you gain knowledge, access knowledge. It helps you how? How else? Implementing that knowledge. There is a surgeon, a renowned surgeon. He has performed so many surgeries, miracles after miracles. Everybody talks about him. One day he had to, he had to do surgery on his own wife. Just allowed to start, and he thought comes. Every time things were right, today, this time, I don't know what is happening. Those thoughts are disturbing thoughts. His mind got disturbed, nervous, anxious, and he is not able to think clearly. Makes a terrible mistake, the wife dies on the table. A gold medalist, work experience, surgeries after surgeries performed and successful. Yet when the time came, when his mind got disturbed, he could not implement the knowledge that he had. You have the knowledge, you are great engineers, but sometimes you are disturbed, you can't solve the problem. You can't do your job. So, if the intellect is strong, you will be able to implement whatever you have gained. And not to talk about if you have a liberal approach, you are a genius. Now, where could we, is there an education institution which could teach us this? All this what we said may make sense. And you may wonder, okay, if today's education system doesn't have a program, a course, which can strengthen my intellect, fine, no complaints. There's no point complaining. Is there somewhere else that I could go? We showed you a presentation on Vedanta Academy. Vedanta Academy is an educational institution situated near Pune and 108 kilometers from Mumbai. It is solely dedicated to the development, to strengthen, to fortify this intellect. The course there is designed, Vedanta is taught in a systematized fashion. If you, okay, that is a 3-year course. That would be the best if you can do. Don't get frightened, oh 3 years, what will happen? You will be somewhere as Steve Jobs, giving people jobs. Today you are thinking, oh 3 years, after, first of all, engineering is how many, 4 years is it? After that 3 years, when I come back, okay, even granted, very sensible thing to do. When I come back, maybe, where will I get a job? No, you will be an original thinker. everything you will approach, your whole approach. These are the people who head organizations. Not for nothing people are made heads, because they have the art of staying objective. Those two disciplines we talked about, approach to knowledge, makes you objective in life. There is a youth camp every May for 5 days. Maybe you could try that. That was not possible. Or in addition, not that not possible, in addition, there are 4 books that we would recommend. Can we somebody show the slide? There are 4 books that we recommend. If you, in your lifetime, not immediately, of course, the sooner you do the better. It will give you I would say, a good amount of development of your intellect. You will be able to develop it. You will start with the first book first, and thus slowly get on the other books. In a year or 2, you should be fine. At least to get over the pinpricks in life. The more you delve in it, the greater the wisdom you draw. The greater it will serve you. Do we still have, it's exactly 12. Do I have 10 minutes? Do we have 10 minutes? Because I don't know what they have next. Is it okay? No. Sorry? Because this is the interesting part. See? 10 minutes. Now you may say, all this intellect building correct, makes sense, it will take time. Does Vedanta have to give us any tip? Today, now, what do I do? This is a long-term program to fortify the intellect. You know, it gives very interesting direction. And we are going to read a poem called Even This Shall Pass Away. You're going to be seeing it on the screen. Yes? I don't know this. You can all see? Can you all see? Okay. This is a poem, Even This Shall Pass Away, by Theodore Tilton. Pay attention. It's a great poem. Get it by heart. Once in Persia reigned a king, who upon its signet ring with an impression, carved a maxim true and wise, which, if held before his eyes, gave him counsel at a glance, fit for every change and chance. Solemn words, and these were they. Read the poem. What are the words? Louder. Yes. Now, so this is the king of Persia. He had this ring, and on that ring he has carved, even this shall pass away. Now, what role does this ring play in his life? Now he's talking about wealth. Trains of camels through the sand brought him gems from Samarkand, a place in Afghanistan. Fleets of galleys through the seas, galleys is ships, boats, brought him pearls to match with these, but he counted not his gain, treasures of the mine or main, land or sea. What is wealth? The king would say. Next situation. Mid the revels of his court, at the zenith of his sport, bend the palms of all his guests, burn with clapping at his jests, his jokes. He, amid his figs and wine, cried, "O loving friends of mine, pleasure comes but not to say." So the king is having, it's not that he's saying, even this shall pass away, so why enjoy it? No. He is taking full measure of the enjoyment, full participation in the wealth that he has got. No shunning anything, but he understands that these are temporary. While it is there, make use of it, but never pine over it. Next. Lady fairest ever seen was the bride he crowned his queen. Pillowed on his marriage bed, softly to his soul he said, though no bridegroom ever pressed, fairer bosom to his breast, mortal flesh must come to clay. See the king of Persia, on the marriage day, not sometime when he met the friend, on the marriage day, pillowed on the marriage bed, he is heightening the situation, meaning at such a situation when there is so much potential for getting involved, lost in that enjoyment. He doesn't lose his head. He remembered, what does he remember? After all, it's mortal flesh, and it must come to clay. Means what? It will die one day. It will meet the earth. This matter will go, earth will go to earth. Even this shall pass away. He partook in the company, but never lost his head. You know, very smartly the poet has put, softly to his soul he said, don't tell the wife that you're after all, you're only mortal flesh, you will one day die and I will bury you with the earth. No. You tell yourself. The Bible also should tell. Okay? Next, fighting on a furious field, once a javelin pierced his shield, soldiers with a loud lament, bore him bleeding to his tent, glowing from his tortuous pride. Pain his heart to bear he cried. But, read that two lines. But, when you fall sick, something happens, you get a fracture, remember this. Even this shall pass. Great. Next. Now is the king of the king. So he's got name, fame, everything. Now how does he tackle that? Towering in the public square, 20 cubits. This is 1 cubit. So 20 cubits in the air, rose a statue carved in stone. Then the king, disguised unknown, stood before his sculptured name, musing neatly, thinking neatly, meaning to himself, what is fame? Fame is but a slow decay. Even this shall pass away. So don't lose your head when you get name and fame. Last. Struck, now this we had no experience. So but what happened? Struck with palsy, meaning paralysis. Sore and old, waiting at the gates of gold, heaven. Said he with his dying breath, life is done, but what is death? Then in answer to the king fell a sunbeam on his ring, showing by a heavenly way. Even death, don't have to worry. It will pass away. As if we know what is death after death. Why are we worrying now? So you have that thought, even this shall pass away. You have this line in your life. You know, it will help you tide over every change, every chance. That's what the king said. Fit for every change in chance, this advice. So it is taken now 7 minutes. We have 4 more minutes. Last. So if till you fortify the intellect, what did he say? What is Vedanta? Does it have any tip? Yes. Every time you encounter any situation in life, apply this. Even this shall pass away. It will help you to not get too lost in the experience. It will help you to stay objective. You enjoy it, but you're in it and out of it. You see Ganesha photo? One leg up, the other down. What does it mean? One leg stays with this understanding that everything in life passes away. The other leg is down means what? You are fully participating in the world. You are not shying away from any of the experiences. But how? With this understanding that everything in life comes, enjoy while it is there, and will pass away. So this is till you fortify the intellect. Once you have fortified the intellect, what will happen? What will be your life? There was a state. There was heavy rains. Record-breaking rains. Everything got washed away. All the houses were in too much devastation. One man, he managed to save his life. House, everything gone. Managed to save his life. And now what does he do? Water is everywhere. This high. So he climbs a tree to save himself. And he said, I'll climb, I'll wait there till this water subsides. Then I'll see where I will go next. So in that confusion, he's scared. So in that disturbed state of mind, his intellect is not clear. He climbs a branch which is very slender, which is weak. So now he chose to sit there. He is perched on, he's sitting on the branch. Heavy winds are blowing. Down the water is flowing like a river up to this. Winds are blowing, strong winds are blowing. So as the wind is blowing, what's happening to the branch? It is swinging. And what is the situation now? He is on the branch. And the branch is swinging. And the branch is slender, weak. So what is the man thinking? He is again worried. If this branch something happens, just when he's thinking all that, a bird comes and decides to sit on the same branch as this man. As the wind is blowing, the branch is swinging. And the bird is singing. So when the branch was swinging, the bird on that branch is merrily singing. It's enjoying the swing and the singing. On the same branch is our friend. What is his condition? As the branch is swinging, he is sinking. The man is sinking, the bird is sinking. Before Vedanta, you are like that man. After you have developed your intellect, strengthened the intellect, you will be like the bird. Using the same word, like that man earlier, your state. What was your state? Same situations. But why does the bird sing and the man sing? What is the difference between the two? What does the strong intellect do? What does Vedanta do? Why could the bird sing? Though the branch will break for both. If the branch breaks, both will face the same effect. Effect means the branch will go. Because the bird is not dependent on the branch. It is sitting on the branch. It is enjoying the swinging, the branch. But it is at not one moment it is dependent. It has two wings to fly away. It is independent. But the man is using the branch. You are living in the same world, but you are wholly dependent. So whatever happens to your world happens to you. So Vedanta teaches you to acquire the world without getting stressed. It teaches you to enjoy what you have acquired without ever being dependent on it, like the king of Persia. You enjoy whatever you have, but not for a moment are you dependent upon it. Thank you very much.
Ma'am was telling me to thank you. Thank you is a very small word. When we were informed about intellect building through Vedanta, we were a little afraid because, like my student, now maybe we will be troubled with all kinds of jargon like inner conscience, soul, Brahman, and all. But you gave a wonderful message through very simple live examples, and I am sure my students and we all would take the clue from you and try to forget about take it easy approach, and we will try to build our intellect and sharpen our wit, right? And once I read, even reading involves all these processes. Read only to reflect, react, record, recollect and reproduce, right? That is how we strengthen our intellect. Intellect sharpens our knowledge. Intellect is supreme, knowledge is divine, and let's go for it. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Just a word, we have lectures on for today and tomorrow, and at Andhra University. Oh, today is the last day. I'm sorry. Today is the last day. But it's an interesting portion. In case you have time, if you're free at that time, please come 6:30 to 8.